Hey, what's up? This is Dave Mira, and you're listening to The Expansion Project.
Hey guys, before we start the show, I want to tell you all about my brand new website called breakparallel.com. I have teamed up with a buddy and partner of mine out of Austin, Texas to create a super cool CrossFit website that is basically, if you guys are into BMX, it's kind of like the come up, but for CrossFit. What we do is we find all the coolest videos out there, all the dopest photos. We keep up with the latest news and we put it all in one place. So if you ever want to know anything about CrossFit or you just want some entertainment, that's the place to go. Breakparallel.com, bookmark it, go there, and check it out every single day. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Expansion Project podcast. I'm your host, Fat Tony, and on this show I have casual yet deep conversations with professional athletes, entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, bloggers, musicians, and anybody else that I find to be successful or just plain interesting. And my hope is that through these conversations and interviews, I will expand my mind and yours while motivating and inspiring people along the way. My guest today is none other than Chad DeGroot. Chad is one of those people who has so much going on, and he's had so much going on for so long that picking and choosing what to cover in a 1-hour interview was super, super difficult. He is listed as one of the top 20 most influential BMX riders of all time by Ride BMX magazine. So obviously his riding career and his professional career is a big topic in and of itself. He is also the owner of 2 different skate parks over the years that had a huge impact on the scene in Florida and really all over the country. He's also put on numerous jams, events, and competitions. He's had experience in real estate investing. He currently owns a BMX company and a bike shop. He's a husband and a father of 2 kids, and the list goes on and on and on. During the interview, Chad told me all about living the good life while running a wildly successful skate park, and then explained how it all eventually fell apart and he had to shut it down. We also talked about his 2 current businesses and how they're doing. And of course, we talked about his riding career, including his first sponsor ever from a crazy, shady guy who supposedly had won the lottery, but turned out to just be a creeper looking for boys to hang out with. Anyways, if you're a fan of BMX, you definitely do not want to miss this episode. And if you're not really into BMX, I still think you're going to get plenty out of this, so don't go anywhere. Before we jump into the interview, I want to tell you guys thank you for sharing the show with a friend. After all, that's the only marketing we have, so please continue to spread the word any way you can. Also, thanks to the people that click on iTunes and leave a rating and a review. That means a lot and helps get the show out there as well. I actually got an email recently from a guy named Mark Peacemaker that I'd like to share. This wasn't left on iTunes, but it was a personal email that I wanted to share with you guys. He said, I just wanted to personally let you know how rad I think the Expansion Project is and to thank you for putting that side of BMX out for the public. I've recently been looking for a confidence booster to get me out of, I guess you could say, a handful of crappy situations and with my current employer. And I feel like the Mike Doyle interview gave me the push I needed to go back and finish college. I get stoked on every episode. You've always been a huge inspiration to me behind the lens as well. Stay rad, dude. So thanks to Mark for that email. And if you guys want to check out the episode he's talking about, it's episode number 17, where Mike Doyle basically explained how he sold 95% of his belongings and is now living as a permanent nomad. If you guys want to send me an email or drop me a line at any other of my social networks, please feel free to do so. But at the same time, of course, please keep going to iTunes and leaving reviews there as well. Also, you can go to theexpansionprojectpodcast.com and check out all the show notes from all the shows there. Also, on the right side of the page at the website, there are a few affiliate links that you can click on. And when you click on those links and buy things through them, you will kick back a little bit of money here to the show. One of those is NutriSumma, which is a company that I use their protein and some of their supplements as well. You can go to NutriSumma.com and use the promo code FATTONY1 for 20% off of your entire order. Now, welcome my guest, Chad. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right, so quick story on the background of Chad. I don't know how to tell this story or kind of my perception of Chad without sounding a little bit weird. It's going to sound weird. I feel like Chad is the kind of guy that has a really, really good heart, and he's a great dude, but he also can have like kind of a brash sense of humor and kind of some kind of, I don't know, strange undertones of the type of shit that he thinks is funny. And as weird as it sounds, I feel like I relate to that, even though I don't feel like I portray myself like that. Because a lot of, kind of crude and brash humor I really like, but I never really project that about myself. But I feel like you kind of, are a little more free flowing with that kind of thing. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but I just feel like I've always related to you in some way, because I think the kind of shit that you like do and say and are into is super funny. But at the same time, like I really can see that like you have a genuine heart inside you. So I really like that about you. So in addition to that, I want to say that you are a big influence on me being vegan, and I wanted to tell the listeners a quick story. So this would have been like probably 3 or 4 years ago at Voodoo Jam. I remember, hadn't seen you in a while. We were in New Orleans together. We were at Voodoo Jam backstage, and I was like, just, hey, how's it going? And you were just like, man, I'm doing great. I changed up the way I've been eating. Me and my wife are on this new plant-based diet, and both of us feel amazing. And you weren't telling me like, hey, I went vegan and it's amazing. You just said you felt good. And to me, that was just kind of this thing where I was like, wow, if he's feeling so good, I want to know what he's doing to feel so good. So you told me that you had watched the movie Forks Over Knives, and then it wasn't until a couple months later that I ended up watching that video. But that was a huge reason why I ended up deciding to transition to a plant-based or vegan diet. So thanks for recommending that video to me and having such a big impact on now how I live my life and what's so important to me.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it definitely opened your eyes. I see that. And, I mean, if anything, people should know what they're putting in them and what they're doing. And, I mean, direct benefits of feeling good. How can you argue that? If you feel good, you got energy and stuff like that, and people are happy about it. I don't preach it by any means, but if anyone wants to talk about it, feel free. I love discussing it and new recipes, this and that. And it's just great. It's helped my whole family. So
yeah, for sure. So are you and your wife and your kids currently all on a plant-based diet, or what's that look like in your house?
It's a little bit different. A few years ago, my wife and I did straight. We call it plant-based because you're learning about foods, and there's eggs and stuff, and there's so much extra stuff, so you couldn't really clue it down to vegan. When we decide to mainly choose, we prefer vegan, but sometimes there's little things here and there, especially with having kids.
Yeah.
People think that we're absolutely crazy, that we're teaching our kids, you don't eat meat, you don't kill it and grill it, you don't do all this stuff. And it's like, it's the opposite. Like we give our kids what they want, but if they do choose, like if Cooper wants to eat a hamburger, we try and do, grass-fed or something nice, like organic, like nicer stuff. And by all means, they don't eat a lot of meat, but they eat very well. As far as even me, we transition back and forth depending on stuff, and it's really tough with traveling too, but plant-based is the best possible way of saying what it is. If I had my choice, I would choose vegan, and it's hard to say my choice, but there's a lot of surroundings and stuff around me, but plant-based is the way it is right now. So
Cool. Yeah, I think that's also cool for people to take away, that you do have some leniency in it. I'm a very all-or-nothing personality type in not only my diet, but so many things I do in my life. So for me, even though I know that that's possible for some people, I'm just not wired that way. But I do think it's really cool for me and for other people to hear, a perspective like yours that is a little bit more lenient and stuff. So I think that's super cool.
There's also the thing of being vegan. You have to understand that you can't just do certain things. You need your proteins, you need your vitamins, you need your D's and all your stuff. You need all that stuff. So if you just quit meat and go specific, it's tough because you have to expand your mind and understand how your body works. And actually, when I quit eating meat, I actually quit vitamins too. And it was a doctor of mine said that your body's smarter than you. So if you cheat your body and give it certain things, it's not going to produce it naturally. So I was really excited to talk to a doctor about that, to my levels and stuff. And I don't know, it's knowledge too. It's just understanding and just being a better person. So
yeah, we could talk about food and nutrition and health and stuff all day, but with you, there's so many different things to talk about, and for this interview in particular, it was super hard to narrow that down, and maybe more so out of almost anybody that I've interviewed for the show. You've just got so many different facets of your life that run so deep and could go in so many different directions that it was difficult to sort of narrow it down. I did my best, and we're going to, just to to give a heads up to the listeners, we're going to sort of break it down into business, riding, and then sort of family and your future. So first, I want to talk to you about business. You have owned 2 skate parks in the past, Mission Skate Park, and then you closed that down and opened Mesh Skate Park, if I'm not mistaken. So I know one of the big things that you've kind of wanted to put out there a little bit, and what you've talked to me personally about a little bit in the past, was kind of that transition and why you decided to close down Mission to open Mesh, and a little bit of a struggle with your business partners and stuff. So can you go ahead and elaborate on some of that for us?
Sure, no problem. I'll go through it quickly. There was a local skate park, Badlands, that shut down, and there was no skate parks in this area. It was before the big rush of the cement public free skate parks and stuff. So I opened Mission Skate Park with my partner, Alex. He had to turn 18 actually on his birthday so we can incorporate, which is a whole nother story in itself. But we opened Mission Skate Park. Not knowing anything about business. We knew how to build a little bit with ramps, but we knew we needed something. And that was the drive that got us going. And we actually ran out of money before we opened. And we went to the city and we asked them, we said, hey, we ran out of money. We want to open. That's the only way we're going to be able to generate money to open this thing up. And they're real nice, and they didn't understand what a skate park was. They didn't have the laws, rules about it. So what it came down to is the ramps were considered office equipment. That's what they legally categorized them as, is, a ramp is like a chair or a cabinet. So we gave them thumbs up, good to go, we're open. From then, it was absolutely crazy. We had to buy safes, home safes and stuff, because the cash was just coming in. It was crazy. It was this new venture, and I was blown away. It was an addiction that you're just seeing this, but it's also fake when, you're making 20 grand in cash sitting in front of you, and you're sitting there with your partner splitting it up, and then you're putting it back into the business. But with that money and all that stuff, all these other kids started getting their start at Mission. Tours are coming through, props is coming through, magazines are coming through. There's a picture every month in one magazine from my skate park. And that means something we were doing was right, which flocked more business, more stuff. And it grew to the point where, you're butting heads with the landlord a little bit here and there. And there was 2 people I knew, 2 skaters, Simon and Brett, that had a skate park about 5 miles away, and they shut theirs down. So we started meeting up, and they said that they're going to open another skate park. So that kind of pinched me. I was like, well, I'm making all this money. We're making all this money. We're doing some good stuff here. But those guys are going to come in, and then what's going to happen? Are we going to butt heads? Is one going to win? Is it going to be a stalemate? Like, what's going to happen? But I saw their business plan and their business style, which was so phenomenal, like custom cabinets and certain things, and people had their own duties, and you had to pay this and do this and look for this, and then taking your sales reps out and drinking and dinners and stuff. And it was like this whole PR thing that I didn't know about. I just rode a bike, opened something that we needed, and just started being very successful.
So they were actually just running a business, and you were just kind of winging it, is what you're saying.
Oh, winging it day to day. I didn't even know what sales tax was. We didn't charge sales tax at first, but we were paying it. We didn't know you charge someone for something, but then you add 7% for the sales tax, and then you pay that 7% to the state.
Right. How old were you at this point when you opened it up?
I was 25.
Okay.
I think I was 25, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So go on. So these guys were, taking their clients out and stuff.
Yeah. So they had this whole different thing, but it was also the skate industry, which is ginormous compared to bikes. But I worked with Brett at Woodward. He was a skate instructor. I was a bike instructor. So we knew each other. So it all just kind of worked. And everything we talk about meshed together, and it worked out, and that's the name Mesh. So we actually moved across the street. That's it. We found a big building, twice the size of Mission, and we took all of their ramps from their park that they had stored, all our ramps, all our cabinets, and we just put it all together. I mean, I can't say it enough. We meshed it, We made it happen, and we started this superpower that was actually making Skate Park of Tampa sweat because we were bringing in sponsors. We were doing stuff. We were doing tours. We had a team. We had a staff of 16 people at one point.
Wow.
Which is absolutely crazy. We're doing Baco jams, and we're handing out $1,000 in cash just to people who have cool costumes, who might need gas money or something. And then we have another $7,000 to give out just to ride and have fun. So it was money. It wasn't, win pedals and stuff. It was this whole other thing. But the look of the park was also something when you walk in the door, you walk in the shop. If people didn't look at it and just like soak it in for a second, which everyone did, they all wanted to buy something.
Mm-hmm.
We had this strategy that when you walk through the door, you're like, wow, I really like this place. I feel comfortable. I want to support it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with the ramps in the shop. And that's where it just started to skyrocket, It was crazy. I mean, with that staff, with that cash flow, you can imagine there's some months $40,000 would come in. There's some months 60, 70,000 would come in. And you're talking safes full of cash, bank accounts full of cash. And it was like, I don't know, it just kind of got over us,
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is pretty uncommon for a public skate park. I mean, everybody knows the statistics out there of what startup businesses do and close down, and more specifically, private skate parks like that. I mean, the success rate is not that high. So you guys were doing something special for sure.
Mm-hmm. We were doing contests. We were having, pro purse for contests. We were doing video premieres. We were doing everything and anything in bike and in skate. So anything you could possibly do, rain or shine. And it was in Florida. People loved to come down to Florida in the winter. All the Midwest dudes, everything. Baco migrated down to my park, so there was all that aspect of it. But it was, I don't know, it was a hell of a run. It was definitely a hell of a run. So
right. So at what point did it end up shutting down, and what kind of brought the demise of all that and everything? And tell us when that was.
Well, my one partner, Brett, was great at skating and great at PR. My other partner, Simon, was really good at graphics and, some basic stuff. But when I realized that Simon wasn't business is when I asked to buy him out. So I told Brett, I'm like, I know, whatever, I'm buying this dude out. Like, I can't handle it anymore. You're bringing us down. You're bringing one third of it down. Let's split this in half. Let's make it legit. So he came to me and he wanted $50,000. And in the same sentence, I offered him $3,000 and he took it. So I wasn't trying to be an asshole or crazy or anything like that. I just thought, that's what I'm offering you. Take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. He took it. So he wrote his name off the company. So we're down to 2. So this was great. This was awesome. But what I didn't realize is how much IRS problems Brett was in and how all the other problems he was on too. The partying, all the stuff like that was, he's not showing up on days. He's bringing people in. Everybody's getting the hookup. Everybody's getting set up with dunks. They're getting set up with this. They're getting kits. And, I mean, it's all your friends too. And a lot of the dudes at the park got their start there, the skaters and bikers. So they would let their friends in. And then they let 2 friends in. Next thing you know, they went from a nerdy person to the coolest person, but they're also skating and biking a lot, so getting really good. So people are looking up to them. So it was just this whole twisted thing, which led into, towards the end, I counted over 75 kids a week sneaking in.
Wow.
So I spent my time going up to each one of those kids and saying, because we had records, we had a program set, I could tell you what time you checked in, how much you paid, what discount you got, everything. Mm-hmm. And I'd look these kids up and show them the record. And they get into an argument. Like, well, he snuck in. Well, okay, I'm going to talk to him next. Well, he snuck in. Well, I'm going to talk to him next. You guys are all in a line. Mm-hmm. But and then one kid didn't pay for 6 months. So I factored out, that's over $1,000. You times 75 kids that we know about times this, we'd still be open. So it was this downfall, but it was, some days I'd look in our account and there might be 20, 30 grand. The next day there might be 2 to 5 grand or something. I'm like, what's going on? And Brett's like, man, the IRS, this. I'm like, that's your personal stuff. That has nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. But because we're together we're a business, it's a corporation, we're partners. It was us. So he could legally take any of the money out, and he did. So it was crazy. The account just went down, 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 but I couldn't shut it down.
Right.
Because we're still trying to stay in business. And when I take the money out as quick as I can, he'd be taking the money out just as quick too.
Oh, shit.
And he just moved. He moved out to the West Coast, so it was just me. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I got a kid. I got another kid on the way. I'm not going down like this. Mm-hmm. So I spent 1 full year. What really sucked is I didn't ride my bike there for that year. I couldn't look at my park and ride there comfortably, so I'd have to go to Vans. Mm-hmm. But when I came back, it was business. I tried for a full year to keep it going. It's the nature of the beast, though. It's the private skate park. I respect anyone that's still in business because it's tough. Those kids sneaking in, the free thing, the expecticons, those robots that go around, they expect everything. Mm-hmm. There's so many people out there like that at a skate park that expect everything. So it went from partners, it went from me sick of dishing out my own money to keep it going, and it finally, we had to shut the door. So that was one of the toughest speeches I ever gave. So, but 6 years later, I'm here right now, and I'm happy as hell with stories. So
yeah, that's great, man. Again, we could just dive into so many different things. I do want to talk about a bunch of different things. So you said 6 years later you're here. Where is here right now? Where are you at as we're hanging out talking on Skype?
I am at my bike shop, Mr. Bikes and Boards.
Right.
And,
so let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so you started a bike shop, which was actually just right down the street from Mesh, which is kind of cool, staying in the same location. And if my memory serves me correct, it's actually in the same little shopping center as kind of a popular little street riding spot. So that was kind of convenient, too. There's little banked walls there in the parking lot. So when did you open up Mr. B's?
Opened in 2009. It was a transition from when I shut Mesh down in 2009 till opening this. So I actually took a good amount of the inventory from over there and was able to open up here. I did dip into personal money, and I wanted to do a couple different things. That's why I started Mr. B's. I didn't want to shun the scene and shut everybody down. I wanted to be a part of it. So starting this bike shop, I want to be a part of it. The other thing is I had debt. I had debt from the skate park, and all I knew how to do was run a skate park, but now I shut a skate park down, but now I'm going to run a bike and skate shop, and I'm going to pay back all my debt because I can't file bankruptcy. I can't do this. Half these people are my friends, that have companies, and I'm not that guy. Like, I'll work my ass off. I even went to try and get a job at Home Depot, but I was like, no, like I was going to try and work there part-time, but I was trying everything. Cutting trees to doing yards and stuff. Well, I had the bike shop going.
Wow.
So, and it was all to pay back this debt. And I became free and clear about 2.5 years ago. It took that long. It took almost 4 years of paying back stuff from the skate park, but it's all paid back, and I feel very happy and comfortable about that, and I feel like it's a success because I did that.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that speaks a lot to your character as well. The fact that you're, willing at this point, like, after having a successful riding career, after making good money in the skate park business, and then kind of, just being humble enough to go try to get a job at Home Depot. I think that speaks volumes about yourself. When you decided to open the shop, was that a thought at all while you still had the park, or would you have never even tried to open a shop if the park had stayed open?
You know what? I don't know about that. Like, I have a little bit of college experience, but bikes and selling stuff and being in the forefront and riding and promote myself and in turn selling stuff through that has always been kind of something I've known how to do. Mm-hmm. So I thought a bike shop would be essentially a cleaner place to do it instead of a dirty skate park, but it was way smaller scale. And when I moved into this plaza, it was pretty dead, and I got to name my own price on the rent. And when I actually signed the lease, the landlord went down even further and put in all these extra perks. I'm like, man, if this folds, I'll be fine. Like, this is a good run. I'm on month to month for unlimited.
Wow.
Like, it's insane. And what's going on here and everything. And this whole area is growing and stuff. So I couldn't pass that up whatsoever. But I personally grew up in bike shops. I've worked at them as a kid, numerous ones, and I've always liked it, like there's a lot of hard stuff, and it's tough, and your fingers are never clean, but I mean, it's
that's brings up a good point. You said bike shop would be cleaner than the skate park. Has that proven to be true?
Well, today I was building wheels and taking apart hubs, so that's why I have a staff, though, and I don't mean to pawn it off on the staff, but I hire riders. I only hire riders to work here, and it's a lot of what they do is the service. I like doing it, but I also have a staff to do it. There's a lot of stuff in the back to do. There's a lot of book work. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of adding. You got to do the math nonstop. Everybody thinks that I sit around and watch Netflix every day, at the shop. But the back end it's the brain. So,
Yeah. Let's talk about the clientele then. I mean, obviously you had all the kids sneaking in, and, it's kind of a place where people, not rightfully so, kind of think they can just throw their feet up and throw their trash on the ground, like, maybe not respect the place quite as much as you'd like them to. Has the shop been a little bit better as far as that's concerned?
Oh, hell yeah. It's got its moments. There's a Polar Pop craze here and spilling drinks, but we don't have carpet here. We can just mop it up, and accidents do happen. But at the skate park, we had kids filling squirt guns with piss and shooting each other. It's like it got to a gross point.
Yeah,
it was bad. Bikes
I feel like that's a very Florida thing, Chad.
Yeah, you got to cool down. Some squirt gun piss. So it's just different. I like the way it is. I got security cameras here. I can see what's going on in my phone. I trust my employees. There's rough people that come in, but when you ride a bike and you're sweating all day, you might just look rough, But there's a lot of people, good, genuine people in Florida. And the big thing around here, which a lot of people don't think about, is the tourism. And this blows me away, is these kids go to Disney and they go to Universal for a week, but they bring their bikes now. And they go and ride skate parks for a day. And then they come up to the shop, and it's like, it blows me away. Like South Americans and, the UK and Europe, it's like somebody comes in every day. And I love it, It's great. It's not, just local. So
it's funny that you say that. I didn't think about it until you said it, but I totally understand it, because when I was 15 and 16 years old and like just, the ultimate BMX kid, when I went on family vacations, even if I couldn't bring my bike, I would make my mom, look in the yellow pages at the hotel and find out where either the BMX racetrack was, and or the skate park, and or a bike shop. And even though I had no business going there without a bike or whatever, no intention to buy anything, I would just go because I was that hungry-eyed of a little BMX kid that I just wanted to see it, like just looking at the BMX track like was so cool to me, and just going into another bike shop and just looking at all the parts that I wish I could buy was like so cool,
Yeah, it's getting out there and seeing stuff.
Totally. So at what point after you opened the shop did Deco come around?
It's the same year, 2009. It's the shop opened, Deco opened, and it was released at Interbike, and it was all kind of a plan. So I did have a definite plan for this. There was enough area in the back of the shop to warehouse like a lot of stuff. And then when I got on a ladder and climbed up, I realized there's another 10 feet above my shop before the ceiling. So I built essentially a pull-down ladder and an attic up there. So I have so much room equivalent to a good-sized warehouse, for a small bike company. So they all started together, and it's crazy because I can sell Deco stuff straight out of the shop. And you could understand from that, I make this stuff and I can sell it full price out front. You do that, you're doing better than the normal 40% margin that BMX is.
Right.
Cutthroat, dealing with the internet, mail orders and stuff like that. Everybody does great stuff. Internet, mail orders, everything's great, but brick and mortar shops are a little tough because the free shipping perks, stuff like that. So that added deco bonus, I got 2 businesses under one roof, and I'm paying one rent, one insurance. It's all just it's almost considered one. So it's this family that's all under this roof. So and I plan it to be this way.
Yeah. So kind of same question. Would you have started a bike company if the skate park was still going?
Oh man, it's a whole kind of segue from working for UGP, doing the clothing line, carrying other companies and stuff like that, and then turning into UGP distribution. So I started learning the business side of that before I even shut down Mesh. So I had a whole nother job, whole nother actually career, I got to say that, because I was salaried with UGP. And I was on a quest to learn as much stuff as I could from riding from companies like Haro or Primo, to learn as much as I can, because I know I'm going to use it later. And now it's later, and I'm using it. I'm making all the right choices, I think, and doing all that stuff. So I didn't know after the skate park, I had a little bit saved up, and I kind of split it into Mr. B's and Deco. And I'm like, I'm just going to let this thing grow. It's going to grow slow. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. And, it's working out.
Yeah.
It's working. So.
Cool. So at this point, if somebody was to come up and say, hey, Chad, how's the business doing? Like, what's your response if you're going to kind of go into detail about, like, where you're at business-wise in both companies?
Legitimately, I'm being honest, it's doing good. It's not killing it. It's not one of those superpower, I have employees, but within me, Deco is just me. I don't know if people know that, but it's just me and my team. So everything you see, so it's within reason. I can take care of it, and it's awesome. And the shop is doing great. I set goals, and those goals each year are passing each other. And I also have incentives for my employees. So if we reach the mark, they get bonuses.
Cool.
They've got bonuses probably I think we missed 2 in the last 18 months. So these guys are getting their wage, and they're getting a bonus every month. I'm a big fan of that, because they're hustling, they're doing their thing, and that's just growing the business even more and more. So
cool.
We're carrying more brands. There's zero debt. I can't even think of debt. Mm-hmm. That's so far past me now. So nice. It's just moving forward with everything. So
cool.
It's doing great. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that, man. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about your riding career. Obviously, you've been in the game a very long time. Relatively recently, you were listed on Ride BMX Magazine's list of top 20 most influential riders of all time, which is super cool. Along the way, you've received a couple of Nora Cups, which, of course, is Ride BMX Magazine's #1 Rider of the Year award. So I know that when we were kind of discussing ahead of time of what you wanted to talk about, Nora Cup was one of those things you wanted to talk about. And you said something about saying your price as far as it goes to Nora Cup. So tell me a little bit about that and what you were kind of hoping to talk about.
Well, I know this show's a lot about BMX business, so I can tie this in. I made money off a lot of sponsors, and it was good, very thankful. And that first Nora Cup in 2002, it was one of those that was so surreal, that name being called, the silence, walking up there, getting it, almost teary-eyed, everything. And I think I worked hard, I was close to getting it, but it seemed like one of those awards that it's just one of those lifetime awards. It's the cover of the magazine. It's that's the award in BMX. Mm-hmm. So when I got that award, I grabbed it, and I was walking down the stairs, and my team manager Haro, Tony D, was standing there, and he didn't say congrats. He didn't say anything. He had this look in his face. I'm like, I was just smiling. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, do you want to shake my hand or what? And he looks at me and goes, I suppose you want more money. And I go, man, are you kidding me? Are you serious? I just won this award. Tonight I'm going to party. On Monday, we'll talk money. Mm-hmm. So Monday came around, and I was like, I don't even want to talk to this dude.
Yeah.
So all I know is I'm getting a raise. It's going to be serious. I was getting cocky, but I was like, fuck it. All right. So I had my friend Kip be my agent. I'm like, Kip, all right, will you do this? This is what I want to get.
This is Kip Williamson?
Kip Williamson, yeah.
Okay. And just for the record, a little backtrack. Tony D, is that kind of his personality? Like, is he sort of like that? I don't like to name names, but I guess I'm far enough removed right now. It might not be a big deal. Like, do people kind of think he's a dick generally?
Yeah, and okay. I think he's like, and I'll tell people everybody thinks he's a dick.
Okay.
Like, that guy's straight up a dick. All right.
Okay.
Like, I don't mind mentioning his name. He made my life hell. Like, I would even have a cracked bike at Woodward and ask for a bike, and he wouldn't send one out. I have to call up and pretend I was Dave Mira or Ryan Nyquist. And for him to answer the phone.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, you kidding me? Like, I got a cracked bike. I put a sticker over it. Like, I just need a new bike. That's it, you know? It got so bad I had to call in under those guys' names or have Ryan order stuff for me. And then I got cool with the sales guy. And I was like, this is awesome. So the sales team was sending me stuff, not my team manager.
Right.
So it got so ridiculous that, I mean, what are you doing? Like, and we never got in fights. Mm-hmm. We never had beef. We're never trying to, fight over the same thing. It was just, I think, I don't know. I think he saw that I did whatever I wanted and had fun with it in a cool way, and he was jealous. But he also had to deal with Dave and Ryan too, who are doing way crazier stuff than I'm doing.
Right.
So I felt with them, but I'm also just, I don't know, that guy, man.
That's another episode altogether. So all right. So Monday morning comes around. You've got Kip Williamson acting as your agent, going in there with Tony D to negotiate for you.
Yep. So I told Kip what I wanted. I told him the percent I'm going to give Kip, and Kip loved it. It seemed like he was like, I'm all about this. Like, let's do this. I'm into it. So he got in there, negotiated the rate. We were sponsored by Adidas as a team sponsor. You ride for Haro, you have to ride for Adidas. Mm-hmm. I severed it. I was like, I'm on top right now. Like, cool. Let's get rid of Adidas. So you deal with that, Tony, whatever. I'm going to Osiris. They offer me a good amount. Red Bull's kicking in. Like, it's all just happening. It was all going. And in the end, I respected Kip so much because he stood his ground. And I was so happy to not have to deal with that crap. Mm-hmm. And Kip, in the end, said, I don't want anything. And I'm like, damn, I got what I wanted. He did it for me. I believe he had a good time with it. And I'm in debt to the dude, thank you, Kip. It was such a great transition into, going to the next stage of making good money, like doing it. So
right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a little personal here. You can deny the question if you like, but at this point or at any point, like in the height of your riding career, when you've won the Nora Cup, you've named your own price on your new contract, what kind of money were you making at the height of your BMX career?
Around that year and the year after, I got into six figures. So it was right there. It was low six figures, but I was very happy,
Yeah.
But I do include that with the skate park as well too.
Okay,
so,
got it.
So that's the overall ball. That it wasn't just one sponsor; it was all collectively.
Yeah.
But to meet that mark, I was, man, yeah, I was chilling.
Yeah.
I was doing all right. So
yeah, that's great, man. So you also mentioned that you wanted to talk about some UGP stuff and kind of naming your price with UGP as well.
It was the same deal. Like they're having problems there. They didn't understand stuff. The receptionist lady would answer the phone and she'd say UPG. Oh, I'm like, well, I heard her say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kept busting her playing solitaire on the computer. I'm like, just come on. So.
And what year is this you're talking?
What year? Man, I'm so bad at the year stuff. So but it's like 2000. 2004, 2005.
Okay, somewhere around that area. Okay.
Something like that, yeah. But it was the same thing. Like I felt like I was worth a lot more. Mm-hmm. Making $300 to $500 as like a team manager, and when I'm actually okay in designs and everything like that, I was like, no, this is more. I'm a rider, team manager. I'm going on trips. I'm doing all this stuff, clothing design. It was like a full ball, you know. So I just said, you know, I need at least $2,500 a month. I need about $10,000 in travel, and I don't really want some caps on some other stuff. Like this is how it's going to be. And Juan's like, Juan owned UGP, so he was like, no, I can't do this. So I walked, and the graphic designer Sab is like, this place isn't shit without Chad. He definitely, the transition from Ron to Juan, you know, I stood in there the whole time, kept the riders, kept it going, and I don't even think it was a full day later. Said, yeah,
wow,
take it. So it was standing your ground, and I lived up to it. I think it was money well spent, you know, too. So
that's great, man. Quick little side story about UGP. So I mentioned earlier sort of taking family vacations and stuff. I actually took a family vacation to Orlando, where you're at, to Disney World. I must have been 13, 14, I don't know, whatever, 15, who knows. But somehow or another went into like this little random surf store, like mom and pop store, and there was a UGP shirt that had this bunny on it. Do you remember the bunny drawing T-shirt? And that was one that I had seen in the magazines and stuff, and I couldn't find it on any of the mail orders. And UGP, like if I called them directly to try to order, they were out of it. And I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I found the bunny T-shirt. I thought it was so sick. And I'll never forget that fucking shirt. So we're talking about like being a kid, just traveling and stuff. Man, you don't forget some of those memories. So I'm sure that when people come to your shop and they get to meet you and the guys that work in there and stuff, like they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives, man.
To touch on that a little bit, I do, not to brag about myself, but there's a lot of people that genuinely come in from out of town that come in to see if I'm here, and I come out and meet them and sign a lot of stuff and hang out and tell stories and stuff. But I also display one of my Nora cups on the counter. So I feel like there's a lot of people that, you know, may not get one, may not ever see one and stuff like that. And I've actually let a bunch of people drink out of it if they want. If they want to pour a beer in it and drink out of it, you know. So it's happened numerous times, and it's like it's kind of a celebration thing. But I have people working for me too, like Johnny Devlin. You know, he's a shadow rider. He's got a new part out right now, and pro rider. You know, there's riders that work here that are legit. Yeah. So it's awesome. So.
Yeah, very cool. Congrats on picking up Johnny to work for you. That's such a great guy, man. I didn't realize he was working there for you, but very interesting character, no doubt, but such a good dude, man. I really like him a lot. So your first lottery, you kind of said that it was a bit of a lottery winner. Tell me about that.
My first sponsor?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, this is a whole story. All right. My first sponsor is a guy in Chicago who claimed to win the lottery. So nobody knows who wins the lottery and what you do with it. And back then, you know, this is 1990-ish.
And how old are you?
I'm still in high school. I'm a sophomore in high school by then. Traveling around. We started going to Chicago and, you know, contests in Milwaukee and stuff like that. And this dude is sponsoring a couple people. You know, he sponsored like Paula Sika and a couple other dudes, you know, and we're just blown away. We don't know what money like this is, and this dude, nobody knew exactly what the amount he won is. So he'd pick us up in limos, drive us to contests. We would drive out to Missouri to contest out there, drive around Chicago. He'd bring us we'd go to Milwaukee, meet up, and he was buying me wheel sets. He was buying all this stuff, and the clincher is when he gave me my own phone card. So this could definitely date me a little bit, but this is when you needed phone cards or a landline or something, you know. Right. So I can talk to anyone I want. Did not matter. So start looking into this dude a little bit, you know, and like my parents are a little hesitant, but they've always had open arms for like what I see and my trust on stuff, you know, my confidence. They probably shouldn't have with this guy, but so what's he doing? Come to find out, he's a mortician. So he's working about 16-hour days. embalming fluid, dead people, like crappy lighting, that lifestyle. No disrespect, but he's hustling, making this money, but he's spending it on boys. So you can kind of see what I'm getting at.
Right.
So once this stuff started happening, it got to the point where I started buying some parts I needed, and he would reimburse me. Well, a couple times he didn't. Like, he owed me, it was like $300 or $400, like, for wheels. And at that time, that's like good seal bearing wheels, and nice extra cables because they snap all the time, and a little bit of travel and stuff. And the dude's not paying me. And I'm like, what's the deal? And can't get a hold of him. So we find out he's a mortician. He's just working to get boys. And I'm like, man. And then we come to find out his build was blonde hair, blue eyes. And I'm like, well, you can check that off the list because I'm neither of those. So I felt a little safe, but I felt like that dude owed me what I'm a man, like, do what you say.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so he owed me money. So I took the phone card and racked it up to like $700. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's 900 numbers. That's different this. That's telling everybody the code, everything like that. So I was like, damn, I didn't realize this dude's going to kill me. Like, I was like, so I let it low for a long time. He's trying to get at me. And then we both pretty much just understood, like, he's into something I don't have, and I'm going to mess with him if I, if it doesn't break even with the money aspect of it. But he wanted something on the side that I didn't know anything about, and he never even tried or anything. And I'm very thankful because there's some creepy people out there. Say you won the lottery and then you start sponsoring people.
Oh, man.
Let's just say, yeah, I got out of that one pretty lucky and alive.
Yeah.
So, but my first sponsor is pretty good story, I think.
Yeah, man. I was not expecting that story from the little prep you gave me of what you wanted to talk about. I was not expecting that one to come out.
Yeah.
So let's move on a little bit later to your career. You kind of had you stopped filming or you stopped riding flatland. You filmed your last trick. You kind of said goodbye to riding, and then at some point or another, you kind of refound it again through a friend of yours. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, this is tough to talk about. I feel like I have BMX in me, and there's a lot of stuff that was crushing down on me, from my skate park shutting down, the massive amount of debt. My wife's pregnant. I'm paying all the health insurance, all the bills, starting 2 businesses, and then my mom's health started failing. So it's like there's a lot of different stuff that was weighing on me for this.
Yeah.
But I filmed that last trick because that section, it's called Big Money. It was my Baco 11 section.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been filming for my Baco video. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I filmed that trick, I pulled it. I was super excited, and I took out a marker and I signed the curb at Home Depot, and I put the date down. And I was like, I told myself I have to walk away from this and I have to focus on absolutely hustling, making money, making business work, putting time into business, and how am I supposed to provide for my family and stuff? And it was like, and take care of everybody. So it was a real, like, emotional time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nothing I've really told too many people. It's really tough to think about all this stuff, but I was at such a low place, like, back's hurting, fucking eating meat all the time, and it's just, just body's slumping, and, I weighed the most ever. The stress level's high. I'm not getting out on my bike. I'm not having fun. I'm not happy. So these 2 Japanese guys, Hiroshi and Yasu, came over, and I was like, nobody stays at my house. Like, I got a family.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a house at 25. Like, I don't even know these guys, So I'm like, all right. So they come over and they start talking about this Red Bull contest. Come to find out, Circle of Balance, and
I'm sorry, what year is this? This is like 2009, 2010 or so?
2010, yeah.
Okay.
So I started losing track of friends and riding and all this stuff, and these dudes just put it into me that they have such respect for elders, and not to date me, but I guess I'm an elder in BMX, and they loved what I did and what I provided and came up with, and direction and sense of humor and stuff, and they almost said, like, we don't really want you to go away type thing. They came and stayed with me. I had them at a hotel for like 2 days, and then my wife's like, let them stay at the house. And I'm like, I don't know. And like, how bad can this possibly be? Like, I've been at crazy parties, everything. My house is nuts, and so they come by, and it was like family. It was crazy. They're playing with the kids. They're taking pictures. We're talking about stuff, like genuinely, like, had connection. That trip was awesome. They had a good time in Florida, but they came here to ask me if I would help judge Circle of Balance. And I was like, man, I'm at such a low point right now. Yes. Yeah. Like, and then I was like, damn, they want the judges to do tricks before, like, you're introduced and you do a trick. You've seen Circle of Balance.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the Super Bowl. I'm like, I don't want to look like a chump out here. Started riding, started exercising, started doing my thing, and my mindset just started getting free and started learning new stuff, doing this, doing that, and it translated into home life, translated into happiness and business, and it just, I don't know, those guys coming over in Circle of Balance, I think, was a transition in me that I owe everybody associated with that. So,
damn. So I was kind of going to ask you, actually, like, why it seems like you're, quote unquote, such a big deal in Japan. Like, it seems like, obviously, people in the U.S. love you as well, but like, you're a pretty big deal in Japan, bro. I don't know if you know this.
It's a David Hasselhoff thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe it's that elder thing. That's an interesting take on it. And the fact that two guys traveled all the way from Japan to basically just ask you to be a judge, like, that's pretty wild.
I mean, with their time here, I set them up going to Profile and visiting the factory, and they wanted to go to Key West and do stuff, not just come over for that. But a big part of it was, I believe, just coming and seeing my side, like, through my eyes and stuff like that. And they made me ride. Like, I can't tell. I didn't want to ride, and they're like, no, we'll film you do a trick, and I'm like, no, I don't. My back hurts, like, and I rode, and after that, I forced my way through it. I'm like, I got to take care of myself. I got to do this stuff. But yeah, I think the Japan thing, though, I've been going to Japan for a long time. One of the first times I went, it was amazing, and I was just there riding and hanging out at a contest, and it was too windy, so I couldn't really feel it. So I just took off my shirt and just started dancing. And they're just like, they're like, oh, this is cool. And later on, some guy just got naked and stood up on the box jump, and they realized, like, make it fun, make it humorous and stuff. Yeah. And I've been back there numerous times, and it's like refreshing going there. Yeah. So maybe they see that when I'm there, that I like what they're doing. I like their style. I don't know. Yeah, David Hasselhoff. So.
Yeah, and if anybody listening to this is not familiar with these guys, Hiroshi Yuhara, I don't know if that's exactly how you say his last name. He owns a clothing boutique store and a clothing line, 430 Clothing, and you're talking about Yasu. I'm going to butcher his last name as well. They call him Green G. These guys are a huge driving force in the flatland scene in Japan. And, Yasu's put on a contest. He's got a magazine out. He's come over to help with Voodoo Jam in the U.S. And these guys just have such a fucking passion for flatland and for BMX and for pushing the things that they believe in and stuff. And, huge respect and props to those guys. So kind of going forward, Chad, you got a bit of a rebirth in your riding and your flatland and stuff kind of through this experience. Now at this point, where are you at with your riding currently?
I haven't been this is like the happiest I've been. Earlier this year, I was riding at one of the highest levels I feel I've been at, pulling tricks. I was still trying to film for Baco 11 and do the Baco documentary and stuff like that. So I decided to do almost all my dark sides with a new twist. Those are hard. There's a lot of old stuff, hard stuff, new stuff, and I feel like I'm transitioning in such a great way. My riding has been awesome. My mindset's great, and it reflects everything. So I'm happy with the state of Flatland. With biking, there's some slumps here and there, but overall, I don't see people say recession or this or that or slump. I don't see it. Mm-hmm. It's not, in my eyes. If it's happening, I don't see it, and I'm not letting myself see it.
Yeah.
So,
where are you at with ramp riding right now, or street riding, or the other stuff besides Flatland?
I truly love ramp riding. When I had my skate parks, stuff like that, it was great. I've done a lot of handrails. I've done a lot of stuff, but as of recently, I hit my head. I was doing a BMX Plus photo shoot with Matt Copeland, and I spanked my head. Wasn't wearing a helmet. Slammed my head. Felt like the back of my head was a 2x4. I thought I was bleeding. I didn't go out. I haven't hit my head much. Just one real bad crash a long time ago. But when I was standing there, I couldn't think. I wasn't putting stuff together. I was repeating myself. I was a mess. But in true BMX fashion, like Dennis McCoy, I got up, finished the photo shoot, and filmed a section, but probably wasn't the smartest thing. But when I got home, it really dawned on me, looking at my kids and my wife, that it hurt, and it didn't mess me up for a long time, but I'd say a good month, and it was pretty tough, like definitely teary-eyed, and just thinking of certain stuff, like certain people have been paralyzed, and what I've got to at this point over those last few years, I've been hitting it hard. Like everything's coming together good. To spank my head was like, I don't know. So I guess I don't leave the ground too much anymore. When I do go to a skate park, I've been riding my Flatland bike. Like, mm-hmm. If I'm doing grinds, I'll throw steel pegs on there. Mm-hmm. I've done some tail whips. I've done some stuff like that, but I do enjoy a skate park, but I'm not necessarily going for that groundbreaking Baco trick or, insane thing. I think I'm in control, and I know my box. I'm trying not to go out of it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping it can expand a little bit, but it woke me up a little bit, and it wasn't the craziest thing. It's just, maybe I got a soft head or something like that. Yeah.
Kind of puts it in perspective, though, when you have a crash or injury like that, and you see your family, and you realize you got this future ahead of you and stuff, and you've got real life adult stuff to be thinking about.
Definitely, but I don't want my confidence shot on that too. Mm-hmm. So I'm gradually getting back into it. Can't say I don't do it. I just do it in a way that I feel more confident with. So,
got it.
But you can fall down any time. It's the name of the game, Yeah. You could trip over a handrail. You could, slip on something. But BMX is harsh reality. Your bike will kick your ass when you least expect it. So that's just the name of the game. So
cool. Well, we are running a little bit short on time, so we'll try to speed through a few extra things here. I want to talk about your family. You've got a wife. You've got 2 kids now, correct?
Yep.
So you mentioned something about your wife kind of telling you about goals and about the future and stuff, and sort of planning and vacations and stuff. Tell me a bit about that.
She's crazy. She when she set goals on me, I'm like, I'm working hard, I'm hustling, I'm doing my thing, and she's like, no, you got to set something, and then get there. And it took so long in my head to do that. I started doing it. It reflected into my business. Those goals, we need to make X amount every day. And at the end of the month, the total has to be at that, or they don't get a bonus. So that's a goal. Each year it goes up. There's a lot of stuff going on with that, and I've never really thought like that, It's future stuff, like when you start saving for vacation. She's had this $1,000 sitting on a card that from her work. And I'm like, I just put it away, or buy some groceries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, it's for vacation. And I'm like, all right, whatever, and like finally, it was 2 nights ago. She booked, we're going on vacation. People need vacation. Like, I didn't understand it. Europeans, they get it. They take 2 weeks to a month. Other people get it, but just go on vacation and relax, unwind, get off your phone, just chill. And she's showing me that stuff that it's slow for me to grasp, but it's coming and it's happening. And I hope she's seeing some results. And I'm starting to understand it more. And you have to set a goal. You have to do stuff. You have to make reality. Make stuff happen too.
Yeah.
So
at this point, talking about the future and stuff, what does your future look like? And how old are you right now?
I'm 41.
Okay, so 41. It seems like you're getting your shit together. You're out of debt. You're making money. Your businesses are doing good. You're setting goals. You're taking vacations. So it seems like you're starting to set yourself up for a nice, future. So what does that future look like for you? What's the future in your mind?
Well, digging into some financial stuff, a year ago I started saving for retirement. There's a lot of people that don't do that. I put away a good amount each month, and I'm very happy with that. With a condo that we still own, house is almost paid off, stuff like that. My goal is to start doing not full retirement at 50, but I want to start doing stuff at 50. I don't want to be those people because that my wife says it all the time. She's like, when people retire, that's when they have problems. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as you retire, and all of a sudden, something hits you. It's usually because they're over 60, 65, something like that. So I guess the retirement thing is a huge focus, which she's starting, I'm starting, stuff like that. And that ties into both businesses as well. There's a good amount, and it keeps growing. So I'm getting excited, stability, stuff like that. But we like to travel. Our kids come with us. They've been on planes. My kid has ridden skate parks in Wisconsin, everywhere. We go with the bike. We travel. We eat some crazy food. We hang out with a lot of crazy people. And my kids are still blown away that we know people everywhere in the world. And that's the BMX family. You meet all these people. And I think, truthfully, in 10 years, I might not have a bike shop. Maybe I've sold it or transitioned on, but I know that's there, and I know I can make money off it. And that stability is giving me a lot of confidence. So to get to the future. So taking it as it goes, but, if you say that money doesn't have an effect on your life, you're lying. So, yeah.
Cool. So we're going to start wrapping up with a handful of quick hits over here, which are questions that I ask all my guests. So I'd like to know, first of all, how do you decompress?
I feel really relaxed and stuff when I'm reading books. I have them in my phone. I have paperbacks, stuff like that. And it's some stuff that maybe, I don't necessarily... I walk away with stuff. I like reading stuff that I'll walk away with. Sometimes I don't believe in a lot of the stuff, but I'll walk away with it. Like the Mike Tyson book. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. And Mike, after reading that book, I started running. Of all things of Mike Tyson and boxing and stuff, he made me want to run. You could read that book and go your own direction, but I'm reading a lot of stuff that educate myself, but I feel like once I'm more educated, I'm reading books about my kids, the logic of English, how to teach my kids about English, why words are spelled the way they are, and why they should be spelled a different way, and stuff like that. So I like stuff like that. Cool. I don't know, I guess reading. Yeah. Maybe having, reading.
Cool. Very good. So next question here is, if there was a movie made about your life, what would be the obstacle or hardship that you had to overcome in order to achieve your success, or maybe just to become the man that you are today?
Oh man, I've listened to your other ones too, and I knew this was coming. It's a tough one, but I think I have to find my true happiness, and I feel it. I feel like it's been planted. So and it's starting to happen. So be happy. I don't know. I don't even think I can really answer that. I think one thing is I've learned to tell people thank you before I get into a conversation. If they compliment you, I say thank you, calm down. That was cool. That was happy. That was a great thought, and then get into stuff. But I don't know. Maybe I know I need to slow down, but I can't. I need stuff to do at all times. So. I know I didn't answer your question at all. But.
Not at all, but that's all right. That's quite all right. That's the nature of the podcast, man. No worries. Have you had any mentors throughout your life? And if so, what does that relationship look like, and who was that person?
I think first and foremost would be my dad. He kind of taught me how to do it right or not do it. He's got so much experience and so much stuff. He's seen so much. He's been in a big family, and he's kind of a person I can talk to, and he has like the right answer, or if he doesn't, he says, well, ask and find out the right answer. He also taught me to try and make a lasting impression. One of those things, like the other day, he told me, he's like, don't ever get old. And I'm like, that's like the best lasting impression ever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad. And that's kind of been something I've been trying to live by. But I mean, there's numerous riders from that mentors. I mean, obviously that's how I've got to where I am, like Chase Gwynn. His way of thinking, his way of being creative with words, on his bike, off his bike, everything. The Rick Molinterno, doing everything his own way. Maybe not the Art of War times, but us butting heads. But a lot of the stuff, legit. That dude is somebody to look up to in business, as a person, and a lot of other stuff. You have time for a couple more?
Yeah, sure.
Back in the day, I think this helped mold my personality as well too. Like people like Leif Valen, not to look up when you do a trick when you're done with it. To be humble, to find humor in everything. To find that. He's awesome. I barely ever see the guy anymore, but like he was lasting from the first time I met him. So even Dave Mira, like being on trips with him for so many years and driving him around and seeing his ups and downs and stuff like that, and his business and his winnings and stuff like that, all from a bike, is truly crazy.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give a cheap plug for the podcast here. I actually interviewed Dave, and you guys can check that out. It was episode number 11 of the podcast, and just an incredible interview. He's got so much knowledge to share, and he talked about his mindset as kind of a champion mindset, and just how he's wired and stuff. So it's cool you brought him up. He's a fascinating guy.
His was great. His was awesome. Great dude. I do. This is kind of weird. Like Jay Miron, I was with him for a year. He's that guy that taught you to don't take nothing. Like don't give a shit. Like he didn't give a shit. Just go for it. And just I don't know, that there's just something about that guy that I genuinely think I got stuff out of. And with him says like the Dave Asado. I couldn't thank him enough for saving me from he was my bouncer for a full year. Me being an asshole and him being a non-drinker, I could pretty much do whatever the hell I wanted. So with that said, that dude can tell his bike what to do. He tore a pair of jeans off of Andrew Ferris in one swipe. You guys tearing off shirt sleeves back in the day and stuff like that. Sato can tear off a pair of jeans. He has no idea how strong he is, but the last person I would definitely say is like Dave Frymouth. He's been along every step of the way for almost everything from travel to work. We've had the same jobs to It's insane, all the stuff we've experienced and stuff like that. And for him, name me as godfather to his son is pretty crazy. So, yeah, I mean, that group, there's more. Those are the ones, that stand out right now. But cool. It's crazy. The mentor thing, get you where you are.
Yeah.
Each person. So.
Yeah, that's great that your bike has given you the opportunity to meet so many great people that's had such an impact on your life too. So the next question is, when do you feel like you get hit by inspiration or ideas the most?
That is right before I go to bed, and I can't stand it. I'll be ready to go to bed, ready to close my eyes, and I'll get up. I'll just get up, get on my computer, type down notes, grab my phone. It's insane. I just want to go to bed, and now something hits me, but I'm like, it's too good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about it that I have to start working on it or do something, and it's like, so call it a curse, but yeah, that right before you're gonna go to sleep.
I've had instances like that, and that's one aspect of my personal life that I try to actively work on is when I get super excited about something, being able to just jot it down and save it for later, because I am the kind of person that as soon as I get an idea, I want to do it start to finish, even though it's like a 3-year project. I want to do it that fucking night, and being able to tell myself to chill and just take some time on it is kind of tough sometimes.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible.
So final question here is, do you have a favorite quote or maybe some words you live by, or maybe a favorite piece of advice you've been ever been given?
The one I go by a little, quite often is look how you want to be seen. So, I mean, you look at me every day, be on it. Is that how you want to look that day? That's how you want people to see you. So I try and do that almost on a daily. It slips here and there, but I want people to see me how, look how you want to be seen. To stray off a little bit, like my dad quote, don't ever get old. Don't ever get old.
Yeah.
That one, I love that one, and I'm working on that daily. So
cool. Awesome, man. Well, please tell people where they can connect with you and check out all the businesses you have going on. Give some links that we can link in the show notes.
Hit my Instagram at Chad DeGroot. Hit at Deco BMX, at Mr. Bikes, the letter N, boards. Same on Twitter, same on Facebook, same on all that stuff. So, that's probably the best way.
Cool. Sounds good. And you guys can, of course, check out my social networks. They are all at Fat Tony BMX. And we're going to have links to Chad's networks and all his companies and stuff in the show notes. You can find those on the expansionprojectpodcast.com. While you're there, please remember to click on the affiliate links on the right side of the page. That's going to help us out. Also, please remember, you CrossFit guys and girls, to check out breakparallel.com. That's my new company that I just launched very recently, and I'm super excited to get that off the ground and find some really cool content out there and share it with you guys. So until next time, Chad and I are going to sign off. Chad, thanks so much for joining me. This has been a blast, and I think people are going to love it inside and outside of the BMX community.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Later.